This episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Pendleton Ammunition. Hunting ammunition for your rifle, hand-loaded, one round at a time. Texas. It's home to some of the most freedom-loving Americans on the planet. And there's a little-known fact that I was born there a little over 50 years ago in McAllen, Texas, where my mother worked as a nurse and my father was attending Pan American University, where he played on both the basketball and golf teams. Mom said it was so hot down there the day I was born that you could fry an egg on the sidewalk, and if we'd have been a few miles further south, my birth certificate probably would have been printed in Spanish. The bottom line is that I'm technically a Texan who lives in Oregon, but I've always considered Texas the motherland. And that is where we're going this week, into the Davis Mountains of West Texas, where we will hunt for Aoudad sheep on a large private ranch that is world-renowned for big rams. First, we flew down to Midland, Texas, and drove toward the small town of Marfa, and then took the dirt roads until we were way off the grid. It was mid-February, and the weather was perfect. I was joined by two of my friends and clients, Mike Barber and Jamie Challis, both seasoned hunters and both seeking big, old Aoudad rams. And because most of my staff was filming peacock bass fishing in Brazil that week, I had to pick up the camera and help the one videographer that we had filming on this trip. I'm not a cameraman, but I'm going to do my best to fill in. Barbary sheep, otherwise known as Aoudad, originate from North Africa in Morocco and other countries in the region. They released into the wild of New Mexico in 1950 and then in Texas in 1957. Today, approximately 30,000 Aoudad sheep roam freely across the state of Texas. And while they are primarily found on large tracts of private land, not all ranches are created equal, because they all have a different management program, and that's why we're hunting the ranch that we are today, because of the management program. We're going to be targeting sheep that are at least 10 years of age and over 30 inches in length. 30 inches is considered the holy grail of hunting Aoudad sheep. Anything over 30 inches in length is an absolute trophy, but that is the beginning benchmark for success on this particular property, because we're truly hunting for age. Counting 10 age rings, that's going to be the starting criteria for taking a closer look at a ram. This week we're hunting out in West Texas. We're in pursuit of Aoudad. And I told my buddy Jamie that I'd bring a rifle for him to hunt with. I knew that it would have to be a rifle that was not just accurate, but it was going to be something he could pick up and shoot for the very first time on the range that morning before we went hunting, and it would be a quick fit, something he could adjust to quickly and get familiar with in a rapid fashion. But not only that, be accurate. You know, these Aoudad can live out in some open country. Sometimes you got to be able to shoot 200, 300, 400, 500 yards to get one. And as luck would have it, I had just that rifle in stock. This is the Bergara Premier Series MG Light Rifle. It's chambered in 6.5 PRC, which is ideal for Western big game hunting, especially Aoudad sheep hunting in country where 200, 300, 400, and even 500 yard shots are more than possible, especially if you want to get a big ram. We topped this rifle with the Burris Eliminator 5 laser scope, and the rifle went through custom load development at Pendleton Ammunition. We developed that custom ammo specifically for this rifle, shooting 2,945 feet per second. We programmed the scope to the exact ballistics of that ammo in this rifle and tested it at long range. This rifle is dialed in. Additionally, we added the GPM Adventure Hunter suppressor. This suppressor is perfect for Western big game hunters because it's lightweight. It's got a simple two-piece design that's designed specifically for hunting. It's 10 ounces, 6.5 inches long. It's compact and lightweight for a compact and lightweight rifle. It reduces recoil, not that that's important on a 6.5 PRC, but it reduces recoil as much as a muzzle brake, improves accuracy and barrel harmonics, and it's easy to clean and maintenance. This is a suppressor that we offer at the Adventure Armory. And if you're in the market for a new rifle scope and ammo package for whatever your hunt may be this year, give our office a call. We'll talk to you about your rifle model options, your caliber options, your scope options. We'll walk you through our load development process at Pendleton Ammunition and help you select the right combination of rifle, scope, ammunition, and even a suppressor, and ship it out to your local FFL dealer where you can pick it up and do your paperwork and take it straight to the range and get down to burning some powder. Well, enough about this rifle. Let's get back out in the field and see if Jamie Challis can connect on a great big Aoudad ram. So after checking the guns, we headed out onto the ranch, and it wasn't long before we started spotting sheep. When we come back from this short commercial break, sheep tags start getting filled. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Bergara Rifles, featuring the new Pure Carbon barrels and a sub-MOA guarantee. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Burris Optics and the new Burris Veracity PH Rifle Scope. That first morning, the wind was blowing pretty hard and it was really cold. And we glassed for hours, and all of the sheep that we were finding were on the lee side of the ridges out of the wind. One of the best things about this hunt was our guide, a seasoned veteran of West Texas sheep hunting and host of the West of Texas TV series, who also just happens to share the same name as me, only with a PH. To save confusion from here on out, we're just going to call him PH. Not because his name is Steven spelled with a PH, but because he truly is a professional hunter. He can glass up sheep 2 miles away and age them. He has patience and tremendous hunting skills, and we were lucky to have him assigned to us as our guide for this hunt. After running back to the house for some lunch and a jacket, we headed back out for the afternoon hunt. Spotted some sheep across the way over here. Initially it was just one, and then there was a second one, a glimpse of a third one. One of them looks like a pretty mature ram, worth a much closer look, so we're probably gonna move up on him here a little bit, see if we can't cut that distance down and get a cleaner look, see if we can't put some age on this ram. See if he's big and mature. He looked good on first glance. Yeah, Steven's looking at him and says, no, just barely okay. Evidently there's some studs out here. I'm going to wait to see what a big one looks like.
Picky out here.
Yeah, we're picky. It's trophy hunting's about. Let them go so they can grow. I want to see him in 2 more years.
It is what it is. The guy says no, so on we go.
When we got back to the house, we found out that my client Mike Barber had killed an incredible 10-year-old and 32-inch ram, a massive trophy. And with that great news, we watched the sun set on a first full day of hunting in West Texas. The next morning, it was a bit warmer. The wind wasn't blowing as hard, and everyone knew that the sheep would be moving out of the canyons and up into the sunlight to get warmed up after a long, cold night. PH moved us out to the end of a ridge where we could look at a large area and glass as the sun came up. Mike Barber joined us on the hunt to help glass, and everyone got into the rocks and started picking apart the landscape. And within an hour, a big herd of sheep started working their way up the opposite side of the canyon. PH saw him first and knew immediately that this was a mature ram. So we got out the spotting scope and took a closer look, aged him at 10 years old, and knew that he was plenty long. The ram was working the ewes as the secondary rut was in full swing. So with the sun at our backs and a light breeze in our faces, PH moved us closer to the sheep and into a good shooting position. With the sheep unaware of our presence, we had all the time in the world. I wanted to be glassing and participating in the hunt, but I had to focus. I had to be running that second camera, but I had a front row seat right next to Jamie. And like a pro, he communicated with PH, got on the big ram, hit the button on the Eliminator 5 scope, and got the range and the illuminated dot, and waited for the perfect time to squeeze the trigger.
Hey, Challis.
Hey, buddy.
Shoot, great shot. Look at that one.
Baby, that's the one we were wanting right there. He's somebody. He's different than the rest, for sure.
And then there was one.
Oh, you know, I like being last. You know,
Barbershop comes through again.
Yeah.
2 haircuts.
2 haircuts in the barbershop. The barbers of Gavilon. When we come back from this short commercial break, Jamie puts his hands on the big ram. This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Green Mountain Grills, the pellet grill for every home and every adventure. Order your own official Steve's Outdoor Adventures t-shirts, hoodies, and hats on our website and social media pages. After a short stalk and a great shot, Jamie's ram was down. All we had to do was go down a steep face and hike up the other side to the downed ram.
Hell of a job, buddy. Good job. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Ooh,
Stud.
cranker. That's a good one there.
Wow.
Thank you.
Got the stud there.
See how polished she is?
Yeah. No gap.
No gap.
This was a truly impressive animal, and Jamie was all smiles while we snapped lots of pictures and soaked in the entire experience before PH broke him down and packed it out.
32 on that side. A little longer on that side. Because he's at least a half an inch broken there.
He looks a lot like yours.
Oh,
He really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think the capes are just, I mean, we saw him walking down the hill and all
Yeah.
that chap.
Especially when they're old, like when you got an
so
old one with
cool.
a big group and he's the only old one, like there's no denying
Yeah.
who he is.
He's
you
the
know?
boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Something moving right there. Nice. Love watching them feed. Man. Guess tomorrow morning we'll have to slip in here. Yeah, it's awesome country, lots of sheep. I mean, right now we're staring at a ram that's probably close to 30 inches, you think, you know? Most places you'd kill that ram. We're watching him walk, you know? Why? We're someplace special with a heck of a bunch of sheep and a lot of older sheep, and we want to find that 10-plus-year-old ram. Length, or, you know, regardless, I want an older ram, you know, and with age comes length or great grooming, one of the two.
Yeah.
You can't lose when you shoot them with age. So, yeah, it's
You
awesome.
kill something over 10 years old out here, you're going to be asking.
Plenty big, yeah.
plenty big.
He's gonna be cool enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the morning we'll just kind of hurry back here.
Yeah.
We'll check that stuff on the way, but we'll kind of focus on hunting this canyon.
Yeah. What did you say, 45-minute drive last night, just going slow down through this creek bottom and
All through this exact kind of country. You know?
all sheep country. Yeah.
Couple shooter rounds.
We'll turn them up.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, they're there.
It's a good hunt right now.
We got a couple of days to find one too, so we got all the time in the world.
And when we come back from this short commercial break, we put this new Burris Veracity PH to work on an ancient Aoudad ram. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by the Far Wide app, putting outdoor intelligence in the palm of your hand. This segment is sponsored by Adventure Armory. Rifle, scope, and ammunition packages shipped, ready to shoot. If you would like to book this hunt or any other hunting or fishing adventure, give our office a call. We will gladly take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the adventure of a lifetime. The next morning was perfect. It was overcast and cool. As planned, we headed down and worked the canyon up from the bottom. And before we could even get the camera set up, PH had found some sheep and a ram worth a much closer look.
Oh, that's that limping ram.
He's limping?
The small one. Remember we saw one the other day?
Oh, yeah. We know where these sheep are at. They're up at the head of this next canyon, so we're gonna hike up and go around this top rim rock and see if we can relocate them. Get the spot and scope on them, make sure the big one's in the bunch. Hopefully get a good look at them. God willing, get a good shot.
As we made our stalk, the wind started to pick up, and I noticed that the temperature had cooled. We knew that a storm front was coming, and it was arriving sooner than I had expected.
We're crawling up 475 yards.
While I got into position to take a shot, PH set up his spotting scope and started looking at the biggest ram really closely.
Stephen's looked at hundreds of these, thousands of these things. He's killed hundreds of them with clients. This is what he does. I can have a conversation with him all day long about bighorn sheep and mule deer and elk and everything else, but when it comes to Aoudad sheep, I don't know anything about them. From 2 miles away, this ram looked like a monster. Now he's dialed in on it. You know, at 475 yards, he's getting a cleaner look at him, and he may not be what we were hoping for, but we've got to be willing to come off the mountain and go look for some more sheep.
There's a big difference between average and great, you know?
Well, that's just it.
An average out here is still good.
Yeah.
You know?
And with that, the morning hunt ended. Midday passed, and the evening hunt began. I was pretty sure that the day would end without a ram. And with maybe 30 minutes of light left, we were walking back to the truck when a herd of sheep materialized out of nowhere. They literally walked out of a canyon that we had already glassed for over an hour. With darkness closing in, we had to act fast. PH and I took off and closed the distance to about 500 yards when he stopped and set up his spotting scope, and he instantly spotted an ancient ram. He was old, and at least one side was heavily broomed. For many sheep hunters, an old broomed off ram is the ultimate trophy, and the second I put my binoculars on this animal, I knew that I wanted to take this ram. They were headed to our right, out onto a big rock outcropping, and we were able to cut the distance down to under 400 yards when I found a good spot to get set up. 400 yards is an easy shot for me. I've got a 1/4 minute gun, but this is a scope that I've never used before. In fact, I only got it about a week before the hunt, but I was confident in my setup. I had practiced as much as I could. I had verified it at extreme distances, and I decided that rather than press my luck with darkness, I would set up here and take the shot.
Yeah, I'm on him. I'm rolling.
Hit him hard, shoulder.
I guess it all worked out fine because I made a perfect shot right through the sheep's heart.
Way to go, bub.
Look how look how polished he is
Yeah.
even out here. Look how like none of the grooves.
Yeah, can't see any of them.
I mean, none of them.
He's polished it off and he's got nothing here.
What a way to wrap up an incredible trip here in West Texas. An ancient ram, lots of character, and I couldn't be happier. You know, if this is a hunt that you'd like to book for yourself, give our office a call. We're always willing to take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the hunting adventure of a lifetime. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's show, but please remember to join us again next week for another exciting episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures. If you enjoyed this episode, please click like and subscribe to see more of Steve's Outdoor Adventures right here on YouTube.